Your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Around 40 gunshots were fired overnight during a tense 17-hour standoff involving Tasmania police and a man with a hostage. Heavily armed officers were forced to swarm the Launceston home this morning after lengthy negotiations failed, saying they feared a woman inside was about to be killed.
A chilling conclusion to a high-stakes standoff. The stun grenades disarm the dangerous gunman inside. Police swoop, dragging two people out from inside the property, both now in custody. One was the hostage, a 40-year-old woman whose life was on the line.
Police effectively went into that house, risked their own lives to save the life of another person.
The hardball response was a last resort, police escalating the crisis when negotiations turned sour this morning.
The dialogue was such that we strongly believed that the woman's life was in imminent danger.
Very intense and almost like a Hollywood film.
Nearby streets were in lockdown, residents evacuated as gunfire pierced the usually peaceful surroundings. Incredibly, no one was injured during the crisis, which began late yesterday afternoon.
I said to the police officer, "Is everything all right?" And he said, "Get back inside now."
Tasmania police brought in the heavily armoured Bearcat to deal with the volatile playbook unfolding. Somehow, two young people found themselves behind police lines. Around 35 officers were surrounding the New World Avenue property at its peak, and as many as 40 bullets were fired by the gunman throughout the night. Police spent more than 17 hours locked in tense talks with the pair inside until its dramatic finale around 10 this morning. Police expect to lay charges against the 24-year-old male gunman following a full investigation. It will consider any links to other firearms incidents from the past week, including one at the same address on Wednesday night, where a woman was shot in the leg.
And I suspect that this will be quite an extensive investigation.
The property is now polluted with pieces of shattered glass, a symbol of the suburban war zone police walked into.
Our people went into that house with the threat and the risk that any one of them could have been shot.
Their courage diffusing a potentially deadly situation. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
There are grave concerns tonight for a pilot missing in Tasmania's remote southwest. Search and rescue teams have been looking for the lost plane throughout the day. Our reporter Michelle Wisby joins us now. Michelle, good evening. What do we know so far?
Well, look, Rachel, what we know so far, as you said, is that the company Airlines of Tasmania has extreme concerns for the welfare of this missing pilot. It said the plane headed off this morning on a routine flight down to Melaleuca to pick up passengers when it went missing. But it was only the pilot on the board at the time. The plane does have a satellite tracker, so authorities say they've got a reasonably good idea of where it may be. Rescue teams are now also there helping out the search, but police say low cloud is making things fairly tricky. What we do know is that this is an extremely remote and isolated area right down in the southwest of Tasmania. So, Rachel, we don't yet know the pilot's condition or what exactly may have happened.
OK, we'll wait and see. Thank you for that, Michelle. A nation-leading expert says housing prices are expected to continue climbing as more people look to move to Tasmania. But it could be bad news for tenants, with some facing rent increases of more than $100 a week as the state's housing crisis continues.
In less than a year, this Hobart tenant says her rent has increased by around $100 a week. It's left her unsure of the future and just where she'll be able to live.
I can't cope with not knowing what's going to happen in 3 months' time. You know, where am I going to be in 3 months' time? I don't know. What do I do? Who do I go to? Nobody.
But she's not alone. While Hobart's housing boom has proved profitable for some, it's left many low-income tenants with almost no options.
Many tenants feel too scared to raise repairs and raise unreasonable rent increases because they're worried if they stand up for their rights, they're likely to be kicked out at the end of their tenancy.
The Hobart housing market at the moment is red hot, and we've seen it growing at quite a significant speed at a time when most markets are seeing either declines or flat conditions.
And for some wanting to buy their own home, it could become harder. The Banking Royal Commission putting everyone on edge, according to one leading economist visiting Tasmania this week.
Many banks have now stopped lending to riskier borrowers. We know they're making it far more difficult for people to borrow, so that's having an impact on housing.
Prices expected to continue rising as our population swells.
We do expect to continue to see price growth in Hobart, and the reason being is that we are continuing to see growth of people looking to buy on realestate.com.au.
Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
More than 100,000 rock lobsters will be moved to Tasmania's east coast in an attempt to restore numbers. With the area's recreational fishing season kicking off today, the government announced an extension of the East Coast Rock Lobster Translocation program. The crustaceans will be taken from Tasmania's southwest to increase stock levels ahead of a busy summer fishing period.
The numbers have been down, so it's important to ensure that there's adequate numbers, and then you build that up over a period of time. So there's a lot of research, there's a lot of science behind this program.
It's the second iteration of this project, so it had been done previously over 3 years, and we've been able to measure that there has been a degree of success in doing a translocation project.
The lobsters also play an important part in reducing the East Coast's rapidly increasing sea urchin population. The North Melbourne Tasmanian Kangaroos have continued their visit to the state, kicking the footy around with some children in Hobart today. The local AFLW side meeting with supporters before tomorrow's training session.
It's really great to see quite a nice turnout today, and it's really nice to see that there are the supporters out there locally in Tassie, that we can show the Melbourne girls that, you know, we've got a big following down here as well.
Training kicks off at North Hobart Football Oval, where they'll play their first ever game in February against Carlton. With the busy Christmas period in full swing, health professionals are warning of the increase in the number of heart attacks at this time of year. GPs from across the state today brushing up on their CPR skills in order to potentially save more Tasmanian lives.
Keeping to the beat while checking the airways. This health worker is refreshing his CPR skills at a course in Hobart in preparation to face potentially life-threatening scenarios.
We have around about 14 participants of different medical professions, mainly general practice, but some nursing and medical staff as well, that are learning a lot around advanced life support skills.
Over 37,000 Tasmanians currently live with heart disease, and as we attempt to take it easy during the Christmas period, our health can suffer.
So there is an increased risk of heart attack, unfortunately, this time of the year. It's very important all year round, but particularly at this time of the year to be very cautious.
It's certainly a time of year where people are treating themselves and maybe having a bit of excess. That obviously is one of the major risk factors for heart disease.
And when a patient is suffering from a heart attack, responding in the right manner is crucial.
The fundamental components of it are good, effective CPR, so learning how to do chest compressions and helping the patient to breathe. And the second thing is defibrillation.
Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania has a strong 300-run lead over Queensland at stumps in its Sheffield Shield clash. George Bailey is on fire at the crease, sitting just shy of a century on 96 not out. After turning the tables on Queensland and bowling the Bulls out for 107, the Tigers had a chance to clutch control, but the butterfingers of Jack Wildermuth worked to Ben McDermott's detriment. The number 3 sent walking after the unlucky run-out. Jake Doran was pulling them to the boundary, but he also struggled to find a foothold, gone for 26. Opener Jordan Silk was slow to build runs. Soon after passing 50, he was sent packing. It opened the door for a far more explosive partnership. George Bailey chalked up his half-century. Then new skipper Matthew Wade chimed in with a huge 6. It clearly set a new tone. Bailey added a boundary blast of his own before building to 96 not out at stumps, putting the Tigers in the box seat ahead of day 3. At the other end of the state, Burnie had its first taste of the Big Bash, and what a finish it was. The WBBL blasting into West Park with English star Heather Knight the most exciting for locals. She smashed 82 not out from just 55 balls. The Canes' total of 158 was only just not enough. The Melbourne Stars chasing it down on the second last ball of the day. The sides meet again at West Park tomorrow from 10:30.
Good evening. A trough and rain band crossed the state this morning, bringing thunderstorms to some parts. Hobart a top of 20 degrees today. Launceston a warm 27, 28 in Burnie. Devonport reaching 21. The state's top was 29 degrees at Bushy Park, Cressy and Ouse. Elsewhere, Grove reached 25. Scottsdale, Smithton, Campania and Flinders Island all 24. Lyoweny 23, 19 on King Island. Strawn getting to a top of 17. On the close-up, a middle-level cloud band moved away from the east, while low-level clouds streamed in from the west. Convective cloud formed inland during the afternoon. On the satellite, a cloud band extends from northern WA across South Australia, Victoria and Tasmania. Cloud and thunderstorms cover most of the eastern Queensland coast. Tomorrow, a weak ridge will extend over Tasmania, while the trough persists over the mainland and to the northeast of Tasmania. Coastal waters and south to southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots, tending southeast to northeasterly during the afternoon. Swells to 2.5 metres in the west and south, building to 3.5 later. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning for heavy rain and damaging hail about the east and central areas, current for this afternoon. Sunday's forecast now: Hobart, possible early drizzle 20, Richmond much the same 21, a morning shower for Ouse 24, Launceston a possible shower 25, Devonport 20, Deloraine 22. Burnie a possible light shower 20, a sunny day for Strawn 21, Curry mostly sunny and 18. A cloudy day for St Helens 19, Swansea 19 also on some possible early drizzle, early morning showers for Whitemark 20 degrees the top. The UV forecast tomorrow very high to extreme across the state. Looking to Monday now, and showers about the far northeast and south, clearing in the afternoon, mainly fine elsewhere. On to Tuesday, and a fine day apart from some possible morning showers about the north. And Wednesday, fine until showers develop about the west and north during the evening. Capital cities now: Perth a sunny day tomorrow, top of 31. Darwin looking at 34, Brisbane 26, Sydney fine and 27. A late shower forecast for Canberra 34, Adelaide 29, Melbourne a few showers and a top of 22 degrees. And right now it's 15 in Hobart, 25 in Launceston, Devonport sunny and 22. Rach, that wraps up the weather.
Wonderful, thank you for that, Laura. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.